Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going back in time to one of history's most devastating conflicts. World War I, let's explore how a single event could ignite a global firestorm. Imagine this. It's June 28, 1914, in Sarajevo. A young man, Gavrilo Princip, stands on a street corner, heart-pounding, pistol in hand. His target is Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Two shots ring out, and in that moment, the world is forever changed. The assassination was the spark. But the world was already a powder keg of alliances, imperial rivalries, and a growing thirst for power. Like a line of dominoes, one nation after another declared war. Suddenly, the world was divided into two massive teams. On one side, we had the Allied powers, Britain, France, and Russia, who were later joined by the United States and others. On the other side stood the Central Powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. Almost every major empire on the planet was now locked in a fight to the death. But this wasn't a war of rapid movement. Instead, soldiers dug massive networks of trenches-long, muddy, rat-infested ditches that snaked across Europe. The wasteland between enemy trenches was terrifyingly known as no man's land, a place where survival was nearly impossible. Life in the trenches was a nightmare of constant fear, punctuated by the deafening roar of artillery. New, horrifying weapons made their debut: machine guns that cut down soldiers in waves, lumbering tanks, fighter planes, and the silent, deadly creep of poison gas. This was no glorious battle. It was a meat grinder that consumed a generation of young men. And the conflict wasn't just in Europe. In the Middle East, Arab fighters rose up against the Ottomans. Colonial soldiers from Africa and Asia were pulled into battles that weren't their own. Australia, Canada, and India sent troops to fight under the British flag. Then, in 1917, the United States entered the war, tipping the balance with fresh soldiers and resources. By 1918, the Central Powers were exhausted. The German people were starving, and their empire began to crumble. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the guns finally fell silent. An armistice was signed. But after more than 16 million deaths, the peace felt empty. In 1919, the victorious Allies forced Germany to sign the Treaty of Versailles. Germany was blamed for everything, forced to give up land, pay crushing reparations, and drastically limit its military. The German people felt humiliated and broken. This treaty meant to secure peace. Instead, planted the seeds of bitterness that would sprout into an even darker conflict just 2 decades later. World War I was called the war to end all wars, but it did the opposite. It redrew the map of the world, shattered empires, and left a scar on humanity. Yet, even in the darkness, stories of incredible bravery and brotherhood emerged. In the end, it reminds us that even in the worst of times, the flicker of our shared humanity can never be fully extinguished. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through history interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories like this. See you in the next one.